Hey, welcome, guys. It's time to get started. It's time for Bollox Talks and Tangents. We got a great show today. We have Mr. Blake Blevins in studio with me. He's sitting in my seat. I'm sitting in Lenny's seat, but I took away Lenny's flag, and I went with the Irish flag. So little remnants of Derek sticking in. Hey, there's Blake. He's right there.
Hello. I definitely didn't have to run fast to get in here.
Yep. Well, Blake was running back and forth, setting and producing the show, but he's doing it from inside the studio, which creates another challenge. Just realized that I'm a little cold, Blake. Someone forgot the fireplace. Oh, no, it's on. So it just isn't showing up. We can't even see the fireplace down there.
Let's see. I can change.
Can we make the flames higher? Oh, maybe that'll work. I don't know. I don't think we can see it. Just a little bit.
Well, it's probably because of my laptop blocking the view.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. But we appreciate you guys. Great show for you tonight. It might get a little emotional for me because when Blake talks about some of the struggles he's went through with autism as a dad, it affects me more emotionally than it actually does you, Blake. I mean, but I'm the big crybaby in the family anyway, so we know that. So it's going to be exciting to hear some of his life experiences. Hopefully you guys learn a little bit about autism. Maybe you'll laugh a little bit with us. But I'm super excited about it. Blake, we got to talk about our sponsors, but first we got to talk about sponsor number one. The whiskey of the week is the peach whiskey from City Gates. Blake is not drinking. He's not a guy who's a whiskey guy.
Plus I'm your designated driver for tonight.
And so. You're more of a lemonade guy.
I am.
Yep. But St. Augustine Distillery and City Gate Spirits, these guys have been with us quite a while. We appreciate them. They have the best tasting tours around. City Gate, their flavors are so unique. If you haven't been there, you have family members in town, get down there, do a little tasting tour. It will blow your socks off. You won't believe you're in St. Augustine. All right, Meehan's Irish Pub. Reggie and the people over there, they're just amazing. They have amazing food. 3 bars in one. They have the oyster bar upstairs, the pub downstairs in the backyard. They do great meals, wonderful food, and amazing atmosphere. If you go there, it's like 3 bars in one. Like I said, you're going to find the atmosphere that fits you best. All right, Abare, Kresge and Associates. Appreciate these guys so much. They helped me out. Had a meeting with them this week. They always take great care of me. And if you believe you can do your taxes better than them, you're wrong. Get over there and let them take care of you. St. Augustine Pirate Museum. They have over 800 artifacts. Just an amazing museum. It's kind of directly across from the fort there on Sponsor Row. They also run the Colonial Oak. They have the Taberna Bar. They have Bull and Crown. Just amazing people over there. They're such a great addition to the Spanish Quarter. Such a great addition to St. Augustine. Appreciate Cindy and the entire staff over there. Kaiser's Deli and Market. Oh man, we got to go there tomorrow.
We have to go.
We usually hit it on Thursday. Lenny's not here. He's usually joins us, but we got to get over there tomorrow. You're missing your White Street. Are you going to try the Bollox pressed again? You went outside your comfort zone a couple weeks ago.
I think I'm going to stay with what I love most, which is the White Tree, which actually is an autistic trait. Stay sticking with formality.
And once you get something, you're locked in there.
Oh yeah.
All right. The other one, Coquina Coast Realty. I almost forgot my own company. If you have any real estate needs, commercial or residential, give me a call, 904-669-7901. Love to help you out. Looking to help out friends. Make the biggest investment of their lives. I've done it several times. I have some expertise, and I'll be honest with you, if it doesn't work for you, even if it hurts me on the commission, I'll let you know, because it's all about you being happy with your biggest investment. All right, Anastasia Miniature Golf over on Anastasia Boulevard right there. That's the one with the pirate ship. They got the Whitebird story as you go through. They have beer and wine there, a great place to throw a party with their pavilion in the back. just a fun night out with the family. And last but definitely not least, Cheshire Custom and Collision. These guys do amazing work over there. You got a little ding on your car. They can fix it up for you and take care of you immediately. And we have a new one. We haven't put it into the mix yet. Did we put Maverick's Engineering in yet?
We did. That's it.
It is there.
So you can see a logo cycling.
Oh, it's right. It's right there right now. All right, Maverick's Engineering, civil engineering. You're thinking about doing any development and how to make your land work and fit into this is part of works with Coquina Coast Realty quite a bit. But Jeremy and his staff over there, very professional, do big jobs and small jobs. They're just honest and good people. They're the best at what they do. All right, Blake, word origins. All right, I have a word origin. You have a word origin.
Yes.
I'm going to let you go first.
Yes.
Because mine's more of a better segue.
Mm-hmm.
So
it definitely is. But I have a feeling this slightly fits me a little bit. born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Well, you weren't born with it. Actually, your money came after you were born. We were pretty broke when you were born. So, we weren't broke, but we were not as well off as we were.
So you guys jammed a silver spoon in my mouth.
We grew into the silver spoon. We cultivated a silver spoon right after your brother was a little closer to being born with a silver spoon, but we were pretty broke when you came along.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So those tax credits must have helped a lot then.
No. That didn't help a whole lot. Oh. But where did the origin of it come from?
So the root of the phrase dates back to sometime in the early 1500s, historically where wealthy families would usually own their own silverware, and including spoons as a sign of their high status and wealth. So when a child was born into families like rich ass families, they usually give a child their own spoon for their christening. But when it came to the U.S., it was first recorded in America in 1801 in a speech made in U.S. Congress, where I'm not sure which person said it, but someone said it was a common proverb that a few lawyers were born with silver spoons in their mouth.
Okay. Okay. No. So it goes all the way back to the 15th century, because I'm assuming at that point the commoners had like wooden spoons, like that were probably, finished and made by the individuals. It wasn't like you went to Walmart.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so you were like a summer camp counselor during like your teen years. So what was it like? Like did you notice like people that like different like wealth classes like come in like could you tell which kids had the silver spoon in their mouth?
The camp that I went to, and the camp that I always worked at were government run camps. Mm-hmm. So there weren't a whole lot of rich kids. I mean, and St. Augustine's has a little more wealth than a lot of other counties, and it definitely had more wealth than DeLand in the early 80s, late 70s. So, I wasn't a very wealthy guy. My family wasn't a very wealthy guy, but I did have my own car at like 16 or 17. Mm-hmm. So I worked in a predominantly black neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, it was I think there was probably 95% black and about 2% Hispanic and 2% white. And then I worked in that camp and was also a swimming instructor there. So the kids called me white bread because I own my own car.
Jeez.
So it's all in comparison to the group that you were in, of where you're at. And it was, I worked at the Chisholm Center in DeLand. If anybody who's from DeLand or been to DeLand, it's almost the exact same model of the Willie Gallimore Center. Same architects, same design, everything. So it was a center just like that. Absolutely loved it. The kids taught me so much about life to appreciate a little bit more than as a teenager. I never had to worry about meals. My dad was a butcher. Your papa was a butcher, so I never had to worry about meals. And when I saw the kids I was taking care of, I didn't realize that people were struggling even on that component of it because I always ate so well. So, it was a 100% free lunch program. So it was very humbling because I wasn't always appreciative of what I had because I didn't have a whole lot, but I was never hungry. I was never worried about the lights getting turned off. I was never worried about the water getting turned off. I always had hot water in the house. I always had a bathroom. So if you go back 200 years and the common people today would have been absolute royalty 200 years ago. You go back 3 generations, like my dad didn't have water inside his house. There was an outhouse, and the well was actually down the road where he had to pump. But when my grandfather sold part of the farm, he split the farm to the federal government for I-75. It came through his farm just north of Chattanooga.
Wow.
That was the biggest check he ever got. And I think it was like $3,800, which was just absolutely huge at the time. And he sold sold like over 100 acres.
So what year was that? Do you remember?
Oh, it would have been in the 60s. So it would have been in the late 60s maybe. But the second biggest check he ever got was he had a pig farm right next to the highway there, and it stunk so bad that the government paid him not to raise pigs, and they paid him like every year not to raise pigs. So that became like the best part.
Yeah.
But I remember when my uncle passed away. I think it was Uncle Argyle. I was in like second grade. And I remember sleeping upstairs at my grandfather's house, and it was a wooden slats house. But I remember looking through the slats, and it was snowing, and I could see all the way. The wind coming through, only had a potbelly stove keeping everything warm. There was, at that time, a pump inside the house. Still no plumbing, but there was a pump where you didn't have to, if you needed water, you could get water from inside the house.
Wow.
And that was within my lifetime, and so that would have been in like 73 or 74. So but like the way we live today would have been kings and queens literally 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So
wow. Yeah, and so I quickly looked up the inflation of how much that 3,800 check would have been today. That's like worth $42,000 today.
Yeah, and it would have been something like that. But it was like triple what he earned for the year.
No.
So that's the difference of really living in those times. All right, my word origin, and I would say you weren't born with a silver spoon, but there was one in the house.
There, maybe copper.
Yeah, it was something that had some value.
Lead.
And the family vacations we got to go on we've been very fortunate. We're thankful for that. All right. My word origin is actually, I wanted to find where the word autism came from. Do you have any idea?
I don't know where
it comes from the Greek word auto, and auto actually means alone. So autism is actually considered the alone disease, like you're trapped within yourself. You're the alone disease. Wow. So as a person with Asperger's and on the autism spectrum, does that make sense to you in a lot of ways?
Yeah, damn.
So, I didn't know. I didn't know it either. I did that walk. I did a lot of research on autism when I did my walk in 2012, but I never looked up the word origin until today. You're 23 years old.
23 years.
You were diagnosed. You were diagnosed at age 3. Your brother was diagnosed at like 2.5.
You also started Project Autism, and you still never looked at it.
I never looked up the word until today, and it actually means, and it completely makes sense to me as an autism dad, because I what you went through and what your brother goes through is incredible, and I'm wondering if that word, when they gave the diagnosis that name, if we would know where we're at today, because autism growth has still continued. It's 1 in 54 people have autism. You know?
Yeah,
and it used to be 1 in 10,000 back in the early 70s.
Yeah, and but that's probably because like we now have we now have the capabilities of actually there's definitely a lot of people that are still undiagnosed or misdiagnosed.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about some of those famous people in history that were more than likely autistic or on the Asperger's or on the autism spectrum that was out there. But you've been aware, and you're a guy who Googles a lot of stuff. Have you ever looked it up?
No, I haven't.
I mean, but it's so. I mean, to me, it's very fitting. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
I would agree so.
I don't know how they got it right. I mean, the doctors and scientists don't always get it right.
Yeah.
So, all right, where do you want to begin? Because I have over here some facts about autism that I don't think a lot of people know. Where do you want to start?
I think it's kind of important to start with first when did you first know, when did you and mom first notice that I was that I had signs of autism? Did I talk about the personal story about that?
Yeah, I think that's very important to tell this story because it's 4 to 1 boys to girls that have autism. And I'd worked with children my entire adult career. I've been a coach. I was a camp counselor. I was a swimming instructor. I've been around kids from age, babies to 18. That was what I came to St. Augustine to start a youth recreation program. I mean, that was my first job was youth recreation and adult sports. So those I did the leagues and stuff like that. So I've been around the kids a lot. I probably started noticing right after you were 2. All right, you were probably right at 2 years old, and you had met all your goals. You were actually above the scale on size. Your head was a bobblehead. I saw a picture today, actually over at Parks and Rec. You as a little kid on the beach, but you're cute as a button, but you had a big head. But I started noticing about age 2, and we kind of kept an eye on you. I had to actually convince your mom that we needed to get you tested. Normally, it's the other way around. Usually, it's dads who have the pushback of, there's nothing wrong with my son, but because of my experience of kind of being in a nurturing position, I think I recognized it a little earlier. At age 3, you could completely read. All right. At age 3, you couldn't carry on a conversation. So your conversation skills were probably that of a 2-year-old. Age 4, you still weren't carrying on conversations, but we had already kind of got you diagnosed, and we started you in ABA therapy, adaptive behavioral therapy. And you kind of really started to kick into place when you started your ABA therapy as far as being able to speak. And by the time you were in VPK, like as a 4.5-year-old, your words really started coming out. Still very introverted, very isolated as a child, and you were definitely hooked on space. You loved the Orlando Magic games. I mean, there were certain things you had, traits that you fixated on. That was obviously you're autistic. What is your earliest memory? Do you remember before kindergarten anything about that? Because I don't have many memories before kindergarten. Like I have a vacation at age 4 and some other stuff around age 4, but I don't have a vivid memory of that time period.
There was only one thing I remember. I think it was around 2004. We were staying at the Animal Kingdom Lodge in Walt Disney World.
Okay.
The only thing I remember about that trip was going onto the Disney bus.
Oh, you loved those buses.
Oh my God.
You loved those. You didn't even want to go into the theme park. You just wanted to ride the bus from theme park to theme park.
Hey. Those are fun.
You still love those buses. That didn't change. So from 3 to 23, that still hasn't changed with you. Yeah, I remember that trip very well because it's the most I'd ever paid for a hotel. And I actually said to your mom, I said, if I don't see a zebra and a giraffe within the first 5 minutes of going in our room, because we got the room right on the savannah, I'm going to punch Mickey Mouse in the face when I see him. And I literally said that as we're walking in the room. And we walked out, we opened the balcony over the savannah. And it's a beautiful property.
Oh,
it was like
it's
literally,
fantastic.
Yeah, literally it was like the Truman Show where they're like, cue the giraffes. And a giraffe comes walking out. I was like, oh, Mickey heard me. They heard me say it, and then the zebras came up, and it was like, oh my gosh, they totally heard. But I mean, that was a great trip. So that's one of the first memories.
That's like the first memory I have. Second memory I had was I think it was like around the same year that I started. Actually, it was the year before I started kindergarten, but I think it was like January 2006. It was an Orlando Magic game. Mm-hmm. I think I had my mom and then Uncle Anthony because one of the things that the autistic people / Asperger people don't like is loud loud noises, social noises. Mm-hmm. And if you ever been to an Orlando Magic game, you may have known that they like to use pyrotechnics during the starting lineups.
Yeah, the intros. Yeah.
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 My 5-year-old self did not like that.
Yeah. I remember you would
melt down and then. I think I remember 3 times throwing up on the concourse.
Yeah, you think you would get nervous, and that was one of your traits. Also, is you would get nervous and you'd work up, and then you'd throw up.
I think the most famous one is like the empathy to throw up.
Yeah, we talked about that on last week's show. Is you were actually going to tell a joke. You said you wanted to be on stage and you wanted because we had just opened the amphitheater. We were doing movie nights. And
I thought we were giving away T-shirts.
We were, but you were going to tell a joke, and it was.
I like how you remember this.
I can't remember what the joke was, but I know the punchline was something because they were barefoot, and it was a pretty good kid's joke to tell. But what made you so nervous, and because you've always been like the ultimate safety guy, is. It was a windy day, so the screen was waving back and forth. And I'm doing my intro, and I kind of got you on the side of my eyes. I have Tommy Bledsoe, I think, up there, and I can't remember who else. I think Ryan might have been there, and Janai was with us. So there was several of us up on the stage. And I look over to go give you the microphone, and as I look over, you just go in front of like 2,000 people. And we always played tricks and stuff like that. And I can't remember what I said. And I think I just said, wow, he's super excited about it. And we kind of got you off. And no one really knew if it was supposed to happen. But it was like completely not supposed to happen at all. And you were like 7 or 8 at that time. You were in like second grade, I believe, at that time. So it was the first year. So it would have been you'd have been like first grade.
That was first grade.
Yeah, you would have been first grade because it was 2007. It was fall of 2007.
Oh, I miss those movies at the amphitheater. I wish it did bring them back.
Yeah,
but with a better screen though that doesn't swing in place though.
Yeah. It was the screen was waving. I mean, we had it secured, but to a 6 or 7-year-old, it didn't look so secure.
No, it didn't. Oh, Paul,
it didn't fall.
Hey! Look, I didn't want the back of the screen to hit my dad. Okay.
Yeah. But we played it off. We got it cleaned up really quick. When you started school, and it's when I first learned about IEPs, individual education. Programs. And I think one of the things that myself and your mom did right is we always had you participate in the IEP. Like we always wanted it to be your program. We made you kind of self-advocate for yourself. What, from an educational standpoint, is there one teacher that really stood out and kind of got, okay, he's autistic, and we're gonna make this work for him, that created a program that really stood out to you? I know that's a tough question because you had so many teachers, you had so many different instructors.
I would, well, I think the first one was my kindergarten teacher, Miss Fisher, I believe. Yeah. So she was like very important to how I became like she helped me understand that, okay, this is a classroom, like here's what you're supposed to do, like, but obviously that's what kindergarten's supposed to teach you.
Yeah.
But she really helped me a lot. But then my third and fourth grade teacher, Miss Masita.
Okay.
Yes.
Because she was both your third and fourth grade. She did both. Yeah.
And plus also a shout out to Mrs. Salta in second grade. Hi Dominic, if you're watching this.
Yeah.
I think he's in Philadelphia right now, being producing his own music, I believe.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So yeah, and he was one of your elementary friends. As you were going through school, and just to be clear, where people understand, Blake has Asperger's, which a lot of times is the highest functioning of autism that you hear about. Ty is pervasive development disorder, not otherwise specified. So it's a long name, and basically what it means is he's got an autism that they really can't nail down exactly how the reaction is. But he's been through a lot of ABA therapy. He goes to the ARC right now, and he's not severe, but he's moderately functioning, and his vocational skill or vocal skills are weaker than where yours were at. And I want to talk about your accomplishments on your vocal skills, because you don't, and we talked about it on the Mike Davis show, you don't really see your victories because you see it more as a struggle. At what point did you realize in your age, okay, I'm different? Because there's a moment that I know as a dad when I think it was a realization that you said to me, but I want to hear from you. When did you realize and recognize, okay, my Asperger's makes me different this way, and what was the emotions that was attached to that?
I think it was like around like end of second grade, start of third grade, I would say. Because that was like the point where we started to get out like the children's phase of like stuff, like you start moving towards like PG-13 movies, like stuff like that. So your brain starts to develop like and you start to develop like understanding around like social conversations, families, and stuff like that. So and that's like around the point where like you start talk like I can understand like conversations about like what's going on with like you, mom, what's going on with your work, what's going on with mom's work, and like what's going on at the house. That's when like I understand that. Like so I like process some information, but also at the same time I was like, oh wait, like when it comes to like friend stuff, I was like, wait, I'm just like processing a lot more information than I probably should be.
Yeah. And when you, and I can tell you this, the moment I realized you knew you were different than a lot of other kids, or, you know, when I knew you recognized, because we never treated you any different. We didn't say, oh, it's his autism. We didn't, you know, we just kind of pushed and did that. But we were watching Autism the musical, and Steven Stills' son is Asperger's, and you looked at me as we were watching it together, and you said, Dad, I'm a lot like him, right? And you got it, and that was I think that was the first moment where I realized you knew that you were a little different. You were probably 8 years old at the time, so it was about the same time that you're telling me. So it had been about the end of second grade, the beginning of third grade. Wow. So, but it was about that time, and when you looked at me, I was like, okay, all right, he's understanding that he's going to have to work. And you did. You always kept working. I mean, you did your IEPs. One of your requests, I remember in your request for the IEPs, is the pressure of timeline always got you. So your IEP, you always tested away from the rest of the class because of the stress. Because in your mind, if you didn't finish first, you weren't going to. So you didn't test well early. But once you got off to yourself and the timeline was removed, you tested very well because you had extremely high IQ.
Just never processed it that well.
Well, you had the rest of the surroundings around you that affected you, so you felt the pressure of I got to get this done instead of actually doing the test. Mm-hmm. You got distracted by everything else around you, and instead of doing the test. All right. Another question I wanted to ask. Now, this one is a lot of people don't understand a lot of these facts. If you have a child with autism, the chances of you having another child with autism is 300% higher. All right, and a lot of people are like, oh, you have two autistic. Oh, that's so rare. It's not that rare. It's actually statistics move more in your favor to have it. But a lot of people always say, oh, you have autistic, and they felt sympathy. But me and your mom didn't have non-autistic kids, so we didn't know if it was tougher being a parent of a non-autistic kid than it is being an autistic kid. You were always you never got in trouble. Your brother never got in trouble. Yeah, a couple times he did. But
don't talk about the times he basically did a wrestling suplex on.
Yeah, and that one was your fault.
Hey,
all right, yeah, because Ty is still the sweetest human being we have in our household. You're nice, but you're snarky because you talk more than him. He probably would get more in trouble. But he actually threw a kid down, and me and your mom didn't believe it until they showed us on a video in the cafeteria of him doing the exact move you did on him the night before. So Ty took that and was like, okay, I got this. And he took out this little kid and threw him on his head.
Hey, WWE said, please don't try this at home. Do you think it really worked?
Yeah, it didn't work. But my question to you is, sometimes it's a challenge being a sibling of an autistic brother or sister. What do you think the biggest challenge you faced as being the older brother? You've always been almost overly protective of your brother. Yeah, I mean, you're always like, hey, daddy's over here, your mommy's over here. Always been very aware of that. But what do you think, as an older brother who's coherent, who has the wherewithal to kind of make these decisions, what was your biggest challenge as your brother having autism, which is more severe than you?
I'd probably say the biggest challenge of having a brother like Ty is basically trying to communicate like what we should do, because like he is much more structured and can communicate as well with what he wants to do, because like let's say maybe because right now for like a daily routine we usually pick him up like around he knows like Tuesdays, Fridays, Sundays are he spends the night with you and me, so it feels like very weird about like going off on like non-days and stuff like that.
Yeah, he struggles with the change. Mm-hmm. But like he, once he gets it, okay, mm-hmm. and he sees it on the calendar, he's usually okay. Mm-hmm. Now, and I, I communicate with him probably as good as anybody out there, and I know sometimes it's frustrating because he's 21 years old, you're 23. You guys are really close in age, mm-hmm. And you've never complained. You've always been, like I said, always been a great big brother to him and still are today. But is it because you can't have that back and forth is the biggest challenge? Or is it the frustration, or you see his frustration? Because with Ty, and it's hard to explain it unless you actually live it. Everything is in there. Ty understands everything we say, but he can't communicate it back out. And you can ask Ty the same question 3 times and get 3 different answers. But sometimes you'd get the most coherent answer of all. Is it that inconsistency that creates a frustration?
It's more the fact that like if he said like yes, no more often, that like the whole thing I have is like him not like properly communicating because you just like screams when like excuse like not loud enough scream like but it's just like constant like that where
he makes chirps, he makes unnatural sounds, and we joke about in our house we live loud.
Oh yes,
and we do. I mean, there's no one in our house that's quiet.
Football Sundays.
There's no one in our house that's quiet. You're not a quiet guy. Ty's not. I'm not a quiet person. Rebecca, none of us are quiet in our household. But Ty has these chirps, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about with people because I don't think people truly understand about stimming. All right, and you want to explain the stimming, or you want me to try and explain stimming?
So you can explain like what the overall concept is, then that I can explain like what my stem is.
Okay, all right. So stimming is most autistic children and adults have something that helps them calm down, or has some type of repetitive action that kind of balances them. So a lot of people, it's very similar with a blind person who rocks back and forth. Okay, that's a blindism, and that's a stem. Okay, Ty's stem is either he makes he makes a sound similar to that, or he'll hit himself in the chest.
Yeah,
and I get him to tap here, so it's a more natural experience.
Yeah.
And some kids walk on their tiptoes. Some kids play with fidgets. It's all over. But once a child finds their stem, and some kids, Ty will do this too. He'll clap his hands directly in front of his face. It's not always isolated to one thing. But you started this stem, and you still do it today. When you were 3 years old.
Yes.
I actually made you a business card that said Blake Blevins
running and humming.
Yes. All right. And your stem works for you in a lot of ways, but you have to be completely comfortable with your surroundings before you actually do it now. Mm-hmm. You used to do it and you didn't recognize the rest of the room. But now you've gotten complete control over it, and like you do it, you still do it to this day to calm. Mm, so explain that. So how that helps you.
So it basically helps me like distract my feeling at the time.
Does it bring your anxiety level down?
It does. Here's the problem with it. I don't know what's happened, but it I'll be straightly honest with you. My running and humming stems has actually kind of led me to like even more darker thoughts.
Oh, so it actually like can, it can be a negative at some point too. Yeah, see, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Like I had some dark thoughts when I was running hum, but at some point I was like, stop it. Like yeah. So
well, and that's. And that at that point, are you able to be conscious of it and stop and say, "Okay, I got to refocus this"? Or
I am conscious of what I'm thinking about when I'm running and humming. Mm-hmm. it's so I definitely have the opportunity to like stop myself. But when I understand like, okay, the running hummings caused me to have these dark thoughts. Then it's like, okay, I'll stop. Then I'll like lay down, just watch TV for a little bit. Then.
Yeah, and sometimes you have a tennis ball with you.
Yes.
When you're running and humming.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about all the wall stains.
Yeah, there's some wall stains where you hit it against the wall and stuff like that. But it's part of your stem. So does the tennis ball help? Because you've always had the exact same stem since for 20 years you've had the exact same stem. And I know a lot of parents try and take away the stem or redirect the stem and do those things. But you've always had the exact same stem. You added the tennis ball in probably in middle school. What was the tennis ball about? Or did it just your love for sports gained at that point too? Was it similar to that situation, or
just wanted to add something different, like
just an extra distraction?
Yeah, I would say so. Like it's I was always a guy that like I was always a kid like during recess if there was a ball, man, I would just usually bounce it to someone else or maybe like play foursquare, but I usually bounce the ball to myself and sometimes either basketball or sometimes a tennis ball, just bounce against the wall, just try to work on hand-eye coordination, just so middle school tendencies just carried over to home.
Yeah. All right. So here's some things I wanted to get out, and I need to talk about the one of these, and I'm going to come back to it. Okay. Autism is more common than any other disease. It's 1 in 54. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's 4 to 1 boys to girls. All right, and this one's there's some autism trends, and 2 of the autism trends that stood out. One of them kind of affects you. One of them isn't really effective. It is a much higher risk of having autism if children are born to older parents. All right, and it's also a much higher risk for the second child. But the other cluster is parents that both have high IQs have a tendency to have more kids on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And my thoughts with that and my thoughts with people talk about the vaccinations and stuff like that. You met all your goals until you had your vaccination. Your brother met all his goals until he had his vaccinations. I don't believe the vaccinations created it. I believe everybody's predisposed because of the 300% for the second child proves that it's a genetic-based disease or syndrome. So that proves it. I think being predisposed, I give this theory all the time when I give my speeches about autism, and it's like being allergic to a bee. You don't know if you're allergic to a bee until you've been stung. All right? Mm-hmm. And that's the same as I feel with the vaccinations. No one knows that the vaccinations, I'm not saying the vaccinations is causing this, but I think some people are more predisposed to this reaction. Yeah.
But the big thing is like you, but you still agree that definitely Ty and I should have been vaccinated a long time. We're not saying like because Ty and I have autism, you shouldn't vaccinate your kid.
I can tell you, I struggled as a parent. Did I create this in how I handled your vaccinations? And I still have that thought every once in a while. But I mean, I have 2 beautiful, healthy boys that, you know, are happy. I mean, you guys, we live under the same house. We have a good life. And I think all 3 of us agree we have a good life. Mm-hmm. So as far as that goes, I don't regret that. One thing I would have liked to, if I could turn back time a little bit, I would have liked to have seen if the result would have been different if I'd have vaccinated you through a series instead of doing the 5-1 and the 7-1. And I tell young parents today, don't put it all in one shot. You know, go through the entire series. Don't don't take that risk of the struggle that myself and your mom had to go through of that would create this problem. And like I said, I wouldn't change. I mean, you guys are both great kids. I wouldn't change anything else in the world. But if I created some of your struggles, that's where I struggled as a parent. And that's the only thing that really kind of gives me some of that pushback. And I think a lot of other parents that I've talked to have had that pushback. All right.
Do you need to talk about sponsors real quick? Or
yeah, let's run through them really quick because we're on a roll, and I think people are enjoying the conversation. All right, Cheshire's Customs and Collisions. If you got any dings on your car or anything you want to do, restoring your car in any way, shape, or form, give them a call. Anastasia Mini Golf, best mini golf in town, located right there on Anastasia Boulevard, across from Gypsy Cab. You can't miss it. Coquina Coast Realty, any commercial or residential needs you need, give me a call, 904-669-7901. Kaiser's Deli and Market. If you want to see us at lunch tomorrow, come over there. They have some amazing sandwiches over there. Try out the Bollox. Do the half and half turkey and pastrami. It's my favorite meal out there. Make sure you get it pressed. St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Amazing people over there. Cindy and the crew. Just a wonderful time. You're not going to be disappointed. You're going to be very surprised of what they have in there. Abare, Kresge and Associates, best CPAs in town. Been my CPAs for decades. Kept me out of trouble, and I have a couple of businesses going on, and they always work through it with me. Meehan's Irish Pub. Wonderful food. They have a chicken curry over there that is absolutely incredible. The mac and cheese, besides yours, is the best in town.
Oh, yeah.
Great wings. They just do an amazing job. And Citygate Spirits, that's what I'm drinking today. I'm doing this peach whiskey. They have some amazing flavors over there. Do the tasting tour. You're going to take home something you're going to fall in love with. St. Augustine Distillery voted best tasting tour in the country. They have a self-guided tour now that is just amazing, and you'll learn so much. They have some cocktail teaching classes, and it's just ridiculous what a great job they've done with that facility. All right, Blake, this is a topic I wanted to talk to you about because it was very important in your life. And we're talking about dogs and autism. All right, your brother had a dog and you had a dog that was both your dogs, and I think both those dogs helped you out individually, and both dogs fit your personalities perfectly. Mm-hmm. Your brother had Meatball. Meatball was an absolute knucklehead. Your brother's a funny guy, and he likes to bounce around, and Meatball matched his personality. But you had a very, very special dog.
Yeah.
Talk about Athena a little bit.
Yeah, so Athena was a German Shepherd we got from what was the name of the place we got from?
Single Vision.
Single Vision. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Were they based out of Palatka or?
It was north of Palatka, probably closer to between Palatka and Keystone Heights. It was kind of in that area.
Yeah. So I believe it was a litter of 7 German Shepherd puppies. Mm-hmm. Six of them were boys. One of them was a girl, and that was Athena. And she was the only dog that came up to me.
She went directly. She picked you out, and she went directly to you. Great, probably the most loving dog we've ever had. Mm-hmm. Now your brother's dog. We got at the pound, all right? And we got at the pound, and we're like, okay, we're not going to get a dog. We're not going to get a dog. And we're like, okay, this dog's super cute. He was a lab boxer mix, all right? And the reason we got this dog, it was the first time your brother ever said a full sentence. And he said, the puppy's so happy. And you actually named both the dogs. Mm-hmm. All right. Do you remember on the ride home naming?
I do.
Meatball.
I do.
Okay.
Remember.
All right.
It was because
everybody out there is thinking Meatball and they're thinking the food.
Oh yeah, I was thinking more of Meatball, the NASA logo at the top, like the NASA logo, but because if you ever been to Kennedy Space Center and looked at the vehicle assembly building, there's a giant like American flag on the left side and the NASA logo on the right side, and they always call it the Meatball logo.
Yeah, the big blue. Mm-hmm. It's got like
the
white,
earth,
white and red,
the little red arrow thing.
Yeah,
and then the little moon rotating around it. So we named it Meatball after that.
Yeah. So your Asperger's even showed up on the ride from the pound with your brother's dog, and we always rotated who got to get the next dog. Like right now we're on Blue, which is my dog. Mm-hmm. But now you have a cat,
Tommy girl,
who thinks she's a dog.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they talked about is the relationship between dogs and autism, and I think that was so true, and I think that helped both you and your brother in so many different ways. But one of the other things I want to talk about is people. Here you go. This is where I wanted to be.
Sure.
All right. Autism, we already talked about this. Autism affects 1 in 54 children. Okay? It used to be 1 in 10,000. And we used to only have 16 required vaccinations. Now it's over 36. Back in the 1970s. So the vaccinations and the increase have went together. Autism is not considered a mental illness. It cannot be cured, but it's one of those. And when I did my walk in 2012, which you walked with me quite a bit, I walked from my house to the White House, which is what we did, and it was called Walking with Troy, but it was through Project Autism. I stopped at different schools that were autistic schools. I stopped in different Rotary clubs to kind of explain. Still to this day, the most important part of being a parent with the autistic is getting them diagnosed early. Early intervention is the most important thing. We were very fortunate, both you and your brother, we got diagnosed very early. But that is the most vital thing that I want people to understand. And it's not just, it's not just for your child. It's for your own personal experience. Because if you move a child that's severely handicapped to moderately handicapped, severely handicapped child to get through childhood, and everyone in autism lives a full life, to get all the way through their life, it costs about $4 million. Moderate, which is where your brother's at, it costs about $2 million. Where you're at, you're like $500,000 to $1 million. So it's a big difference between, highly functioning down to severely disabled.
Wow.
So, and that is one of the things, what it's doing with our society. If you consider 1 in 54 people, there's 300 million people in the U.S., and you do the math on that and do the difference between $500,000 and $4 million to 5. Now it's probably even higher than that. We're talking, I did that walk 12 years ago, and those were the numbers then. What it does to our society and the economic impact it has on our society, and you say that's not important, it really does put a strain on our society. And the first president that was, and I'm not a Donald Trump guy, the first guy to really throw some money at autism was Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So I got to give him credit.
Yeah,
I bash on him a lot, but I got to give him credit on that. All right. Some famous people, you have a list. We only got about 5 minutes left. Some famous people that more than likely had autism and wasn't diagnosed. And a lot of people out there are going, I'm probably on the spectrum. There's probably a lot of people out there that weren't diagnosed. And that has a lot to do with the numbers changing too, because we're recognizing it more and understanding it more. And a lot of people think of autism differently, and I think society's gotten better with how we're managing that too. So famous people of your list, you had a list of 20.
Yes.
Who on your list were you like, okay, that one kind of surprised me?
There's not a whole lot of like absolute surprises on here, okay. but I will say one of them is Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
But
I
can see him being very Asperger's. I can see that.
Yeah, but it's also kind of surprising to see someone being diagnosed with Asperger's and autism, being able to go up to a comedy club and make jokes about. So how about that airline food?
Yeah. So you ever know? Yeah, I can see it. I mean, probably one of the most successful television series of all time. But highly intelligent people are on this list, like Nikola Tesla. Him and Thomas Edison are on that list, right?
Yes.
All right, and those two actually had a little internal battle within their same lifetime about how electricity should be used. Edison monetized his knowledge. Tesla, I believe, was a little more extreme on the spectrum. So he had all these brilliant ideas. Tesla probably had a higher IQ than Edison did. And is Einstein on the list or no?
Yes. Yeah.
Einstein's also on the list. So we're talking three of the smartest people in our history. But Edison monetized it. Tesla just was all about the science. And I see sometimes you get into that where you can't get to the 30,000 feet of a project because you get stuck
on foot 2
on step 2 of where you can't get it clear.
Yeah.
So so kind of explain how you get over to the rest of the world. It looks like, okay, I'm stepping over this brick because this is where I want to be, and you get hung up on this brick. So explain how that knowledge happens. Like you do spreadsheets like nobody I've ever seen, and you do it for fun.
Yes.
It's actually relaxing to you. So explain to me how you get so hung up on this, even though you know the result is over here. So how does your brain do that? Or is it all happening from one different, is it coming from every different direction?
I understand like the results like all the way over there, but I had to be stuck up on like here because like in my mind like I have to make sure that whenever I do a next step I had to do it right, and there's a part of me that like there's a perfectionist in me that thinks I had to do it perfectly as well, because I'm not sure if this is more of a like autistic pressure thing, but I'm also kind of worried like if I mess up, how many people will see it, and
so you start internalizing all that, and it starts. I got to get this right. I got to get this part right before I can get there.
Like even like changing a battery on like a light switch remote, am I thinking like if I don't get this right, will you be disappointing me? Will Rebecca be disappointing me? Will
they judge?
Yes.
Yeah. See, in my mind, I was like, screw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's because I see you struggle with that even today, and I'm like, oh, that's his Asperger's right there. So we're down to our last minute. Anything you want to talk about? And run down that list really quick of people. Give me like your top 10 out of your list of people that are more than likely on the spectrum, even though they weren't officially diagnosed.
All right, so unofficially diagnosed.
Yeah,
I'll say Albert Einstein. Let's see, Charles Darwin, Emily Dickinson, not Bob, Michelangelo,
Okay.
Isaac Newton, Tesla. Let's see who else. Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, I did hear that.
Graham Bell and Benjamin Franklin and Henry Ford.
I never heard the Ben Franklin one. Okay, that's the first time I've heard that one.
Yeah.
So I guess he was fixated on having to solve the problem.
Yeah. And but also probably also according to this website, the number one famous person with autism is Dan Aykroyd. So, which gives me an opportunity to say, hey Pete, Ghostbusters 2.
It wouldn't happen without an autistic guy, without an Asperger's guy.
Right.
Blake, great job. Appreciate you. Love you. Wonderful show. We might have to go back to this topic at another time because I feel like we just kind of scraped the edge of it. But if you guys would share this show, Bollox, Talks, and Tangents. We're here every Thursday. Support our sponsors if you guys get a chance and let them know that we sent you over there. So this is Bollox, Talks, and Tangents, and we'll see you next week.